Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Jeremy Adams, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
In brightest day,
in blackest nights,
no evil shall escape my sight,
but those who worship evil's might.
Beware my power.
Green Lantern's light.
Hello and welcome back to Sector 2814, the Green Lantern Podcast. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, Master of the Core, it is.
I am Will. Hey, everyone.
And speaking of the Core, today we'll be talking some Green Lantern Core 7 through 9, The Dark Side of Green.
I'm kind of torn on this storyline.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good story, but there are things I don't like about what it implies for the Core.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on here, yeah. Alright, so... Anyway... No, I don't have any new Green Lantern news, I do not believe. I mean...
I did get my copy of Night Terrors #1.
So what did you think?
I thought it was pretty well done. For a villain that basically bumps up against Hal's greatest power, which is overcoming fear, I thought he said, I had to keep switching reality to keep you off balance. Mm-hmm. But, still at the end of that first issue, and by the way, spoilers, sorry.
I was going to say, it's been a few weeks, so I think we're safe with some spoilers. But, yeah, so what did you think of, once he starts seeing, Kilowog and Oa, and he's just like, Wait a minute.
Yeah.
This can't be real because Kilowog's here and the Guardian. So it's like, okay, so did something happen to Kilowog?
No, I mean, and they talked about a mission to Korugar, right? What does that mean? It's worrisome for Kilowog. I think it's very worrisome.
Oh yeah, and I mean, and again, it fits in perfectly with the regular monthly books. Again, it's Jeremy Adams writing both, so
yeah, and I kind of feel sorry for the other books that don't have the regular writers doing it.
Yeah, because
it's is there any continuity? I mean, because there's some good continuity. I mean, this picks up right at the end of last issue.
Yes.
I mean, it's there's no missing seconds or anything. It's just the next events. So, and it's good that I think Adams is writing it because we get that cohesiveness.
Yeah.
And it's not something that we've had much of yet. I mean, we've only had 2 issues of the regular series at this point. So I guess we've now had a third, technically.
Yeah. And again, I mean, and even of the handful of the ones that do have the regular monthly writer on them, I think, again, Jeremy Adams, I'm pretty sure if what I remember is the only one who's picked up right where their last issue left off. So
I'll be curious to see when, the first 6 or 8 issues, first 4 issues, whatever are collected, if
they put Night Terrors in there. Yeah.
Night Terrors right in there. I mean, I think it makes sense because one, reality shifting. So the fact that there's a different artist just works, because reality is different. So it doesn't look like the regular book, but it's still by him. So it feels like, a regular issue of Green Lantern to me.
Or I wonder if even issue 3, if he's going to be landing the plane or something. So is it just going to be it could work either way. Whether you put Night Terrors in there, yeah, it works. If not, okay, you kind of miss what happened in the middle there. But yeah, it's not going to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just because I still pick up Batman and go ahead.
Who did you say? You pick up who? What?
Batman, my favorite character. Into the Dark Knight, all to do with Batman.
They get Batman and Detective, so they get part of the monthly order, and Mike's like, "What's this Night Terrors thing? What's why are these issue number? What is this?" I'm like, "Okay, let me explain." No, there is too much. Let me sum up. So I summed up, and he went, "Oh, okay."
Insomnia? There's a pill for that.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that the villain is named Insomnia and puts everyone to sleep is...
Yeah, kind of ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, I thought it was a good issue. I'm not as convinced about the Sinestro backup because that just doesn't feel like Sinestro to me. Not the Sinestro we've come to know since Rebirth anyway.
So his biggest fear is himself.
Yeah, I don't know. Of course I'm gonna wait and see. But the first issue didn't feel quite right to me. Hopefully the second part during Night Terrors will make it all make sense and elevate it some.
Yeah, I just think it's gonna be a big thing where be a thing where he has to like rebuild himself back up into the Sinestro we all know and love.
I just don't know that him being used and abused by Pariah during Dark Crisis, which is I think what happened. I still haven't read Dark Crisis yet. I don't know if that would break him down.
Yeah, I mean Pariah kind of took control of those villains and stuff. So it's just, I don't know, is it just Sinestro being like, he's all about order and, being in charge, and all of a sudden someone just like went in his mind. I mean, not to a certain degree, but I don't know, is this almost like Sinestro's trauma response, almost like he's been raped, because someone went into his head and controlled him?
Potentially. I mean, you would think that, I don't know, it's Hal was taken over by Parallax essentially and fought back. So maybe this, I don't know if they're drawing parallels that way or not. It's just an interesting take on the character that I wasn't expecting, and I don't know that I agree with.
Yeah. I mean,
ultimately.
See, looks like Night Terrors or number 2 comes out next week, so.
Oh, cool. So
I'll let you know what I think about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, because it's even Sinestro has something to fear. As Hal Jordan is swallowed by the nightmare wave, Earth's Green Lantern shows this new malevolent threat. What a man with the willpower to overcome fear can do. Meanwhile, as Sinestro grapples with the terrifying new dreamscape he's trapped in, we take a psychological roller coaster ride through his darkest fears and most painful regrets.
See, one of the things that, if I remember correctly, we saw during the Tales of the Sinestro Corps backups, in the last issues, right, that we did with of the main series of Green Lantern, to be in the Sinestro Corps, one has to face those fears and become comfortable with them, which I would assume Sinestro has potentially already done. So I don't know. It just seems kind of weird to me.
I know. Oh, look at that cover for number 2.
Wow, nice.
I know. But yeah, so I guess we'll see what that goes. It's so weird because it's like most of the books have had a backup story. The only one that I remember right now that didn't have a backup was like Nightwing, and so Nightwing was just one full story.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which I almost wish we could have got that for Hal, because I mean they're saying it's like 40 pages. So,
so yeah, that'd
be nice. I mean, if you do 2 issues of 40 each, that'd be like an 80-page Hal Jordan story. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we griped, but I think both of us were kind of, I don't know that we griped about it, but we did mention the fact that during the previous run that, that split book format left me feeling like we never got a complete story with either, the OA contingent or the Dark Sector contingent. It just always kind of felt abbreviated and like we never got a full chunk of story. But
yeah.
I didn't feel that way with the Hal Jordan story this time, or even with I guess the structure of the Sinestro backup was condensed and paced such that that ending point was that cliffhanger ending that we're going to get taken care of next issue, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and 2, one, it's Jeremy Adams. He's been doing good work here. But 2, also, I mean, they know it's only a 2-issue arc, so it's like you can't really like drag it out too much.
Yeah, exactly. And who's doing it's not Philip Kennedy Johnson that's doing the Sinestro. It's Alex Segura. Is that right? No.
That sounds familiar. Here, let me look up. Should have left the number 2 open. We got what the heck? Oh, here it is. Yeah, Segura is the writer for that Sinestro. Yeah.
So yeah, I like I said, I don't necessarily agree with the characterization of Sinestro, but I thought it was well done. So we'll see what happens in the next issue.
Yeah. Again, is it just going to be Sinestro? Is it just all in Sinestro's head? It's like, oh, I lost control. Controls everything.
Maybe. I guess we'll see. And I admittedly completely out of touch with where the various entities are. I think most of them are like in the source wall or something now, except for Parallax potentially being out and about. But I thought Sinestro was in control of him. So I don't know. I haven't read the Sinestro series, and I don't remember. I know there was Lights Out was something where the entities went away, but I feel like a lot of people online don't necessarily agree with how that storyline kind of left the state of affairs with respect to the entities. So
yeah, and again too, we don't know where we're at these days. I mean, after Dark Crisis and that that last series and and that John Stewart one shot, we don't know where we're at with pretty much anybody.
That's right. Good point.
All right. But I was going to say before we get to the issues, are you caught up on Star Trek: Strange New Worlds?
They dropped a new episode last week that I didn't think they were going to do, so I have not seen it.
Oh, okay, yeah, because they dropped that the crossover one early on that weekend, because I guess they showed it at Comic-Con, and then they dropped the next one on that it's scheduled Thursday. So
yeah, so I am actually an episode behind. Stacey and I will probably try to watch that tomorrow night.
It's a good one. I mean, because like
is it the musical episode?
No, that's the one that'll be coming this week. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because that's what Lilith and I were talking about. Like, the crossover one was kind of cutesy and stuff. The next one is not cutesy. No. It's about war and PTSD. No, it's not.
Okay. It's a put them through the ringer kind of episode, huh?
It's like, oh, hey, we're trying to kind of come to a good place with the Klingons, and Klingon beams aboard, and he, basically he's like an ambassador now, and like trying to like promote like unity and stuff. And they're just like, yeah, this guy, the Doctor and Chapel were like in the war, and they're just like, yeah, no, this guy was kind of a butcher. No, I don't know.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing it now. That sounds good.
Oh, it's very good. Yeah, you should watch it as soon as you can. Yeah, Strange New Worlds again. Like I said, that's the best Trek in like. I mean, of the current stuff, at least the current stuff, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say that. I wanted Picard. I mean, Picard season 3 was great, but Strange New Worlds just
rocks
over and over. Yeah. I'm scared for this musical episode though. I'm like, what?
I know. Musical episode? I'm sure they can all sing and dance, and because they are entertainers, but. I just, I'm a little worried about it. You're right.
I mean, I'm not a big musical person, so I just always question, like, why do you got to do a musical episode? Like, The Flash did one. There's precedent for it, but we all remember the Buffy musical episode. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know, because they like to do it.
We'll see. Keep an open mind and see how. I'm sure it'll be done well.
Yeah. Oh, did you like how they did the crossover?
Oh yeah,
I had forgotten that Lower Decks was like set in like the where like Picard and all them are at. So I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna have to like time travel too a little bit.
Yeah, a lot, about 100 years, right?
Yeah,
it was a good. I like at the end, where they're drinking. They go, do my eyes look really big? Because they're animated.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good episode.
Oh yeah, I forgot because like they don't mention the final fate of Spock. I'm like, yeah, he's still stuck in that Kelvin timeline, right? He's probably that's gonna probably be the end of Spock because Nimoy's dead. So it's like that's
and I think in the second movie, no, the third Kelvin movie, he gets a call that. Ambassador Spock has died, if I remember right.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm trying to remember if I saw that third one or not, but yeah, okay.
It's been a while. I can't remember for sure, but I think it was there.
God.
And we got a quick in Discovery. They said, "Hey, yeah, we know that he went to this timeline."
Yeah,
because we got a report from this guy that time traveled and dimension hopped, and that's really bad. really bad. You don't want to do that.
So, I mean, only Spock, not only did he die a hero, but then he also later went on to, yes, live long enough to die in the Kelvin timeline.
Exactly.
All right, so should we get to these issues?
Let's do it. This is a Guy Gardner issue that I want to talk about.
I know. I have thoughts on these. All right, let's see. Hopefully these all have synopses. I know the first one does at least. All right, so, yeah, tonight we're going to talk The Dark Side of the Green from Green Lantern Corps 7, 8, and 9. So Green Lantern Corps number 7, February 2007. The Dark Side of Green Part 1. Writer Keith, is that Champagne or Champagne?
I think it's Champagne. That's
Okay.
the way I've pronounced it.
Yes.
I could certainly be wrong, though.
Yeah. Penciler Patrick Gleason, inker Prentice Rollins, colorist Moose Bauman, letterer Phil Balsman, and editor Michael Siglane and Peter Tomasi. On the Dominator homeworld, we're starting in third gear here. On the Dominator homeworld, one of the lower caste Dominators addresses his superiors concerning the Dominion's repeated failed attempts to conquer Earth. The elder Dominators listen as the lesser alien demonstrates an experiment he is performing upon they cunt. I'm just always waiting for that. Anytime an alien race is like, oh, what's at least in DC, and we're like, oh, wait, why does that puny little planet always resist our efforts? I'm always just waiting for the line, oh, that damn Kryptonian,
Yeah,
or something to that effect,
Yeah. No, that darn Nightwing. That's what it is.
Oh no. That tactical, that dark mind, no powers, but we still can't seem to defeat
Batman. My favorite character.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Guy Gardner and Green Lantern novice Amy Hall travel to the frozen world of Corona 7 on a mission for the Guardians. They are to locate a man named Von Daggle. Landing on the planet, they burrow deep underground until they discover Daggle's lair. Daggle is a shape-shifting Durlan, however, and quickly gets the drop on both of them, relieving them of their Green Lantern rings. Guy tries to fight back, but Von Daggle transforms into a small flying creature and enters Guy's mouth, wreaking havoc inside his body. He causes Guy to fall over unconscious. Okay. When Guy awakens, he finds Raimi and himself stranded on the icy surface of the planet. Raimi, however, seems unable to revive herself. Guy does his best to snap her out of her malaise, and the two fly, courtesy of Raimi's natural wings. Yeah, he literally tries to snap her out of it. I thought he was going to say, he tried to slap her out of it.
Yeah, he did. And he did.
It's like, we're going to freeze to death. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back down in the cavern, they come upon a strange alien whom Guy presumes is Von Daggle. He quickly discovers, however, that the alien is actually Raimi wearing a dead animal's carcass draped over her limp form. The Raimi standing next to him is actually Von Daggle. Guy is itching to fight, but Vaughn reveals that he needed to test Guy's fortitude. Guy soon learns that the Guardians sent him to this planet to team up with Vaughn, not fight him. Von Daggle reveals that he is actually a deep undercover operative for the Green Lantern Corps. The Guardians of the Universe want Vaughn and Guy to infiltrate the Dominator homeworld and stop them from using an arcane artifact which may actually spell their own doom. Back on the Dominion homeworld, the lower caste Dominator uses radioactive elements from a piece of asteroid to gift Kund warriors with great power. It is his intent to create his own Kundian army completely subservient to the Dominators. Thoughts?
I thought this was okay.
And I love the Black Ops team as the Green Lantern Corps, CORPSE. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like kind of what we see of Guy, and what we're going to see of Guy in here. I don't like the idea of the Guardians, although I guess it makes sense because they don't seem to ever learn in their billions and billions of life and keep making the same mistake over and over and over again. But I don't that seems to undercut the whole point of the Corps, which is this above
order,
and having if they are a police force, having cops who are basically assassins is not awesome. Okay, I mean, and again, this is that time where we're seeing kind of the more militarization of the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
Where they're more soldiers than cops or policemen. And I mean, I understand. And, Jeff Johns and the writer on this seem to say that that's a bad idea, but it still seems to happen anyway.
It seems like, and in this era where this issue came out, I mean, we're kind of doing this more and more. Like, I think this is at the point where, like, over at Marvel, where we got that X-Force book where, like, Wolverine's in charge, and basically, they're basically Cyclops' Black Ops kill team. Yeah.
And so I'm not a fan of that. I feel like
And I'm just like, okay, if we have a team like this, wouldn't the Guardians have introduced this concept to those rule breakers, Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, a while ago?
One would think. But, I feel like the Green Lantern Corps and Green Lantern in general, is this ideal that, everybody should be striving for. That's why they wear white gloves, is because they don't get their hands dirty. They're above reproach.
Yeah.
But having said that, I thought the story was really well done. I just, that fundamental idea that there's a Black Ops Green Lantern team out there, I find it kind of distasteful. I don't like it.
It's kind of weird too. Yeah. 'Cause it's like again, just like with blowing up the Corps, blowing up the central power battery, it seems like every 5 to 10 years we want it, like ever since like Rebirth, we want to like paint the Guardians as like, oh yeah, secretly they're really a bunch of no
Nazis,
no
whatever.
morals. Yeah, and then basically they're going to ram their agenda through no matter what they have to do.
Yeah, and call me a little bit bright, wide-eyed, optimistic, but I would think that beings that have literally lived for billions of years might possess just a little bit more wisdom than me, who have lived much less than a billion years. Although some mornings I feel like I've lived a billion years.
Yeah, and again, they evolved over how long from the Malthusians and stuff, and it's like, really, you haven't learned any other way besides, oh hey, let's send in a Black Ops strike team and kill them all.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would like to see, because I don't think we have seen this. Hey, the Guardians actually being a force for good and justice and positivity in the universe versus how they're always shown in the last 40 years.
Yeah, but is that just like a trope of like current any kind of fiction where it's like, oh yeah, if the organization's big enough anymore, there's going to be at least some corruption in it or something.
Yeah, and I feel like it's an ideal.
Yeah.
I mean, the issues are still really good. I mean, and I think they're really a good showcase for, what Guy is kind of capable of and, how his brain works.
I mean, was the whole purpose of this thing, I mean, we'll get to it at the end, but is it like the whole purpose of it, it's just, oh, hey, the corpse is so hardcore, it's like even Guy Gardner is not like tough enough for,
Well, and I feel, and I don't know this but I don't know that they ever appear again, do they?
I don't remember. Yeah, no.
I don't think so. And one of the questions I did have, Von Daggle, I'm wondering if he's an ancestor of Reap Daggle of the Legion of Superheroes.
Oh, that was one of the notes on here. It says it's never stated, but it's possible that Von Daggle is an ancestor of Reap Daggle, who is a chameleon in the Legion of Superheroes. Yes, so that's
right.
So it's possible. Yeah,
we read some Legion last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I need your picks soon. I'm going to need your picks soon. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then they do mention in this story that the celestial matter, they put it that the Dominator's using for the experiment is the same that gave I'm not too familiar with Captain Comet, but it's the same stuff that gave Captain Comet his superpowers, which
is kind of cool because it we saw Captain Comet in the lead up to Infinite Crisis with the Ranthanagar War stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So, I'm just looking at his origin here. Oh man. Captain Comet, aka Adam Blake, basically got exposed to this stuff. I guess as pretty young. He might have been a baby even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I forget his origin. It's been a long time since I've read anything, that wasn't Infinite Crisis with him in it.
Yeah. In 1931, John and Martha Blake had a son named Adam. Moments after his birth, a comet streaked across the Midwestern sky. John jokingly commented that the comet represented a sign of good fortune, but had little foreknowledge of how truthful his statement would become. Although Blakes were unaware of it at the time, the comet had emitted low-level waves of radiation which would trigger multi-genetic cell growth in Adam Blake's body. As such, Adam began to develop incredible mental abilities. But yeah, by the time he was 4, he had acute powers of observation. On one occasion, he mentally located his mother's missing wedding band beneath a pile of discarded wood. And his intelligence increased, photographic memory and stuff. He could perform a Mozart concerto on a clarinet without ever having picked up the instrument before by the time he was a teenager.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he's humanity evolved, right?
Yes, and then it wasn't until college that his physical ability started kicking in. So basically, it's almost like the Superman origin, except for him falling from the sky. He was, it was basically just the comet coming. Yeah.
Yeah. I did check. It looks like these 3 issues are the only appearance of the corpse.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't done a reread of this stuff recently until now, but yeah, I didn't remember any. So, all right, should we get to the next one?
You bet.
All right. It's Green Lantern Corps number 8, March 2007. Looks like the same team here. Dark Side of the Green Part 2, and of course, there's no synopsis for this. You bastards. So. Well,
I mean, things escalate. It starts off with the Dominators all getting killed by the Dominator who done the research. He evolved himself. So, he kills all of them.
That escalated quickly.
It certainly did. And then, we get the kind of the recruitment speech and the explanation of what the corps is and how they work and all of that with Von Daggle and Guy kind of explaining everything. And then Guy goes in. There's a really cool panel, or actually it's a page, where Guy is down there getting ready to, he's debating whether or not to kill this evolved Kund, right?
Yeah.
And you see and he doesn't do it. But then, he gets messed up by, does he get messed up by the Kund or the Dominator? I think it's the Dominator, isn't it?
I think so. I'm opening it up now, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's near death, but then the female corp, what's her name again?
Oh, Amy.
Amy? She gets exposed to the comet, the radioactive chunk that they have, and it evolves her, so she's able to save Guy, who is really very close to death, I think, at that point. And Von Daggle, basically beheaded the Kund and then pretended to be him to go with the Dominator to Earth because he just has a mat on for that Earth, that mud ball,
I know, because I was looking at the notes and they're saying, they're failed attempt to take over Earth, and I'm like, and it said, oh yeah, they're talking about invasion. I'm like, oh my god, that was 1988 or something? I'm
exactly.
Like, 2007. There, I mean, almost 20 years later, they're still like, we almost had them.
The good old days.
And again, we may talk about invasion a little bit on Electric Mullet when we get to that point, kids. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Yeah. All I remember, one of the things I remember from Invasion is at the end of 2, they drop that gene bomb and makes a lot of the superhero, anyone with the meta gene, their powers are going nuts and stuff. So in 3, it's basically the only ones left who can go to the Dominator homeworld to look for the cure. It's like Robot Man from Doom Patrol. It's Hal and Guy, just because they have rings and yeah. But I just remember they're doing the government's doing the report. They're like, oh yeah, this one's bad, and they're like, this one's almost close to death. And they're like, oh, no one wants to go near Dr. Fate.
And then, oh man, and so that was 88. Then Dr. Fate got rebooted like in the 90s as Fate, right? With a knife.
Oh, yeah.
But that was like 3 reboots of Dr. Fate ago, right?
Oh yeah, because I think Dr. Fate during Invasion, Dr. Fate was it still Kent Nelson? But then it's like, didn't it go to Enza Nelson after that?
I think for a while, yeah.
So Fate was a woman for a while, yeah. And then in the 90s, like the mid 90s, you did that knife thing. I don't think that was it. That was like a brand new Fate, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was. And then I think he gets, a lot of the new characters that were introduced in the 90s, like the. What was the crossover that we did in Green Lantern? The vertebrae thing that would,
Bloodlines. Bloodlines, yeah.
A lot of those characters got sacrificed during another crossover later, because they're expendable if they didn't, hit and get a book, right? But a lot of those characters. Then there was the worldwide DC event. That was another annual, right? Where because Kyle went to Japan, was it? Is that?
Oh, okay.
And, teamed up with a Japanese hero or something. Yeah, and I think I've seen some of those characters get, tossed on the altar of sacrifice for the latest crossover.
Every so often, like during an Infinite Crisis or something, they'll be like, we need a body count. Well, we can't kill the so-and-so. They have a monthly book. Hey, how about that guy that showed up in the 90s, Nightblade? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. Good times.
Oh yeah. And then Amy gives Guy that kiss, and then Von Daggle's like, oh, basically keep it in your pants. She's like, no, I just did that. I did that, to get
take his mind off of his questions. Yeah.
He's like, oh, that's a good soldier. But yeah, like this Kunda that was being experimented on it. They gave him like mental ability. So yeah, he's like trying to get in the guy's head.
Mm-hmm. And Guy's able to fight him off, but then the Dominator comes in and kind of dominates, right?
What about the Von Daggle telling Amy of, once again, Hal Jordan's name coming up?
Yeah.
Because he's like, when Jordan took down the Corps, my men were stranded under deep cover, powerless in the worst pits of the universe. Die alone, that was our motto, but not like that. My boys deserve better. I'm looking forward to meeting Hal Jordan one day. So I don't think we ever see that, but
yeah, we haven't got to see that yet.
So once again, we got at least a page or two of that bastard Hal Jordan.
That's right. Yeah.
Boy, he's never gonna live that down.
It was parallax, I tell you. Parallax.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody thinks to blame the parasitic alien that took him over. I'm like, yeah.
That he finally fought off, came back from the dead.
Yeah. It's like, had he not done that, you guys would still be out there with no power rings and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know though. I mean, Kyle Rayner brought back the banner, and so
that's true. He did, and he brought back the Guardians.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So none of this would be possible without Kyle. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think about that? The corpse using those instead of rings, since they're deep cover, they was it like the pill things that are good for like 5 days?
Tablet. Yeah. How much power? I mean, I would think that those, on average are 5 days, but if you start using it, it's going to burn them up. Like a charge on a ring. How much charge do I have left? So I don't know. I thought that was interesting, but again, it's completely antithetical to the whole point of what Green Lanterns are.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I liked about when Hal was riding in the Batmobile with Batman. He said, yeah, I go in and I'm, light because I draw all the fire.
Yeah.
That's my job. I know that. And it's the way it worked out in that, issue as well, with Batman able to take down the new tattooed man. So.
Well, I know, Batman's had conversations like that with Superman too, because Superman's like, I just like walk right in, and Batman's like, well, yeah, you guys can afford to be flashy and walk right in because you're bulletproof.
Yeah, exactly, and laser proof, and
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Batman, my favorite character.
You know, it's like you guys are either invulnerable or you can move at the speed of light. He's like, yeah, no, that don't work for me.
But he's the one that the Dominators fear on Earth.
Probably.
Got to get that in. We got to get that in there, right?
Oh, that was the other thing from Invasion. I think Batman like delivers Major Force to like Amanda Waller or whoever's in charge is like, yeah, take this piece of crap.
Yeah, is he back? I think I remember seeing Major Force recently.
Oh, maybe. I mean, it's part. I mean, again, death doesn't stop anyone. But again, he wasn't dead. I mean, Cal just like cut his head off. So.
And sent it out of the solar system. I mean,
and,
so, yeah.
And again, we've had how many reboots since then? New 52, Dark Knight's Metal, all that crap. So, I mean.
Wait, did he appear in Ion? Didn't he appear in Ion?
Yeah, I thought he did. Yeah. I'm trying to remember that whole thing. Yeah, that wasn't a hallucination or nothing. I mean, that wasn't like an illusion.
I guess Sinestro could have went and got his head and, glued it back together, so there you go. Because we don't know who's behind that still yet.
Yeah, again, we have enough spacefaring enemies. Yeah, someone could have just got his head.
Yeah.
Should have just threw his body in the sun or something. But, but then that Kun kid basically, everyone gets better because, it looks like Guy's like laying dead on the floor and the thing puts his fist through Amy.
And then she gets, exposed to the chunk of the comet, right?
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, should we just jump to 9? Because there's no synopsis for that one either for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it's the same team and everything. Oh, yeah, and then the thing, just rebels against the guy who created and everything. Basically involving.
Mm-hmm.
But then I love all of a sudden, oh, hey, Darkseid shows
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I'm totally Darkseid. Totally.
Basically telling this science experiment to stand down. But yes, no, it's Von Daggle, of course.
Mm-hmm. Because, wait a minute, I didn't hear a boom. Where's my boom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom. Sorry.
Why was there no boom to herald your arrival? Von Daggle, like, damnation. But yeah, we see Amy evolved into that, like, glowy blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And thanks to her, her and Guy are able to get there in time to save Von Daggle, who is, getting the crap kicked out of him, right?
Yep. But then, Guy, kicks the snot out of this thing, but then he's like, stops at killing him. He's like, now let's take him back to and the Guardians will know what to do. And
Raimi's like,
no,
I don't think so.
She's like, that's not the task. Basically, rips the thing in half. Now we are finished. Complete. So, afterwards, they basically, Von Daggle gives Guy his ring back and says, I guess he said, take a couple of days off until your black charge thing runs out. So, I guess he's saying, well, wait till you get rid of it?
I guess. Or maybe it just evaporates. I don't know.
And again, if the Guardians were gonna had stuff like this, it's like, I don't know. Wouldn't you give something like this to everybody so people can't have their rings taken off of them or something?
And be okay? Yeah, I mean, as a backup, there's
plant something in their bodies. I mean, even if they got to recharge, I mean, just sticking your hand in a lantern or something.
Yeah, an emergency thing that keeps a charge. Enough to keep you alive in space or something. Because, we saw a bunch of lanterns supposedly getting killed during, the last volume, with the Jon Stewart stories when they went to the dark sector. So,
that's it's the thing. Like when you introduce something like that and then no other writer picks it up. Again, it's like, I'm sure people forget about stuff, but I'm just like, that's like with Iron Man when different writers will introduce different things for Tony Stark's armor and then it never gets used again. I'm like,
where are the
Tony
skates?
Stark?
I want those skates.
Oh yes.
Sorry.
Come on, Will. It's the 21st century. Those would be rollerblades. Come on.
That's true. That is true.
You know what? I think. He did. Who was the last writer? Not the current one. I forget who it was, but he did have him use the skates in one issue. Yes.
Cool.
Because he was almost out of power. Yeah. All right. So, thoughts on this, William?
I thought it was very well done. It's kind of a showcase of Guy, but I don't like what it implies for the Guardians and essentially what would be an assassination force that's part of a police force. You know,
Yeah.
that's not in any way, shape, or form a good thing. And I think that the writer is firmly on the side of that this is a bad thing, but you know, nothing happens to them. You know, they're out there to still do the job that they're tasked with doing by the Guardians. I just don't think that I don't like it as a development for the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
Again, because I feel like they need to be the ideal. They're there, you know, if crap's hitting the fan on your planet and a Green Lantern shows up, you're like, okay, everything's going to be fine now.
Yeah.
Right?
And again, too, I know it's a retcon and stuff. They didn't have it, but I'm like, anytime you introduce this stuff, I'm like, why wouldn't, you know, eventually, like back in the day, remember Green Lantern 25 when Guy and Hal punched it out to see who stayed in the Corps? I could see them be like, oh yeah, Guy's out of the Corps, yay! And then the Guardians sneakily say, hey, you want to join this Black Ops team? You know.
Yeah.
you know, officially you won't be a Green Lantern anymore, but
here's your ring thing.
Can you imagine if they had like a Black Ops crew, they all wore like yellow rings or something back then?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what they could have done? They could have been like, oh yeah, technically, yes, officially, Sinestro's public enemy number 1 in the universe, but we've had him on the payroll the last several years. As the, you know.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But you know, I still think the story was well done. The art was gorgeous. I mean, it was a beautiful. All 3 issues were beautiful.
Patrick Gleason, yeah, I love his stuff.
Yeah. And I think there is something to the fact that no other writers have picked this up as a thing to use, because you know I feel it is at odds with the core.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun. Of the Green Lantern mythology, right? Mm-hmm. You know, at least in my opinion.
And again, you know, once we, you know, again, we're 2 weeks away from Sinestro Corps War. Once we start introducing more of these, you know, the different color cores and stuff, you're going to get different cores, you know, that aren't as moral as the Green Lantern Corps. So it's like, kind of like, yeah, we don't need this here, you know, as part of the Green Lantern Corps.
Exactly.
Or Corps.
And, you know, although I think this works well to, well, you know, no, it doesn't, thinking about it, because spoilers, if you don't want to, the whole point of Sinestro Corps War was for Sinestro to force the Guardians to allow the Green Lanterns to kill, right? Mm-hmm. So to make them a force to be feared because they can kill, right? Mm-hmm. Throughout the universe. Now, if the Guardians are already doing it, that kind of takes away some of the punch of Sinestro Corps War, at least in my mind.
Yeah.
Right? Because, hey, we're already doing it. He's right. We always know he's right, but we're still going to have all this big war about, you know. So, I think that there's really good and valuable reasons why this hasn't been picked up.
Yeah, again, well, maybe that's why it hasn't been mentioned again, because they're like, oh yeah, because, you know, now, you know, that's going to take away from the whole ending of Sinestro Corps War, so yeah, let's kind of forget it. I'm surprised it got past the editor maybe at that point, because it's like, why wouldn't you be like, oh, no, that's going to be a big plot point in Jeff Johns' thing.
In the main book, you got to have, yeah, so, yeah. But still, I think the story was well done. The art was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Again, disagree with the need for such a part of the Green Lantern Corps organization, but I think the story was still well done.
That would have been an interesting point, and it would have played in the Sinestro Corps War if like Von Dagel would have been been more like, oh hey, if those old fools would let us kill, you know, they would be better, and you know, play it up like that.
But no, they've been killing for years apparently, so there you go.
Only a select few will.
Yeah, only a select few. Yeah, I don't like the idea of a Black Ops Green Lantern team. It just that doesn't fit and seems to be completely at odds with the core tenets of what Green Lantern is about. And
again, I know the universe is a big place, but I'm just like, before Rebirth, 3600 and now 7200, none of your Green Lanterns are accidentally discover this? Yeah, it's kind of a big deal, I feel like. And somebody, unless the rings are programmed to just say, oh no, don't let them discover this. Yeah. I mean, I guess Raimi's ring went back to her sector and chose someone else. I guess, yeah. We never really talk about it, but I guess so.
Interesting. But as I thought the issues are extremely well done. I don't like this addition to the mythology, and I don't feel like I'm necessarily alone, because again, in 15, 18 years, 16 years, it's not been picked up on in any way that I know of.
Yeah, no. Yeah, between the end of the Sinestro Corps War and then, again, between then and now, we've had at least one or two. Oh, hey, the Guardians are dicks, so it's basically...
Yeah, and that started, of course, with, hard traveling heroes. The Guardians are, it's the old classic X-Men issue, Professor X is a jerk.
Yes.
The Guardians are jerks. And that's, in my mind, that's spinning out of, the time frame, the 70s, questioning authority, Watergate, do they really, do the people in charge really have our best interests at heart, question, which is great, I think, in reality. But I don't know, we've had that same story over and over again. Hey, the people in charge are bad. Well, okay, but they're literally billions of year old people that maybe have a little more wisdom than we do. Now, they've had them behave less than intelligently, I think, many times over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
But, that's...
I think they try to play up, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's just the whole, oh, hey, they're so old, they're like almost like emotionless.
They're
it's
detached.
Like they don't feel compassion, and it's that's what's missing. That's why they make these horrible mistakes. Because again, like I was just thinking, Emerald Twilight, it's like, yeah, they're not going to raise Coast City and all those dead, those millions of dead, but it should have been like, oh, hey, you need Hal Jordan, you need help, you need, you need.
Yeah, let's go find Mogo and get you some therapy time on Mogo.
You need some kind of therapy or something, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and also you're possessed by Parallax. Maybe we should do something about that.
Instead, they were just like, no, shut up, submit yourself for, surrender or whatever. It's just like, no.
Yeah, the Guardians have been, characterization of the Guardians has been, I think, inconsistent, at best. Because, one of the things that always annoyed me is, like, we're always watching, No, we've deputized you. You go out and do the thing that we told you to do, which is, police your sector,
Well,
and
yeah,
there you go.
And again, so a lot of the older stories, I think it was like just like the Guardians created the Green Lantern Corps to do good in the universe, and then as we've been getting more modern, it gets to the point where it's just like, oh no, they're just about order, their order, no matter what the cost,
Yeah, I know. And
however,
I don't like that interpretation. I feel like, hey, wouldn't it be nice if the universe had, a group of really powerful people that, were kind of looking out for everybody or trying to look out for everybody?
Or they were benevolent because they are billions of years old and they've evolved past, all the petty hatreds and squabbling and
But hey, that's just me, I guess. I don't know.
You want turmoil and strife. There's enough species in the Green Lantern Corps. You're going to get all that within the ranks.
Yeah, but the Guardians, oh hey, spoilers. Let's turn some of these lanterns into alpha lanterns and basically make them robots. That sounds nothing. What could go wrong? Honestly, what could go wrong? We haven't, decimated or completely razed a full sector to the, ground in a few million years. So yeah, what could go wrong?
We're back, and we're. They learned nothing from their time being dead,
Yeah, I did. One thing that I did like was the portrayal of the Guardians at the beginning of the last volume. But we only had about an issue and a half.
Yeah.
Of that, and then they're literally gone. Removed from the universe. The Malthusians, the Controllers, the Guardians, the Zamarans, gone. All their tech gone. Right. So Well, or is it because the Green Lantern Corps is still back? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Again, we need, I guess we got to wait for Jeremy Adams filling those blanks, but it's like, yeah, I mean, we don't know what's going. Are the Guardians back? I mean, Hal seems shocked to see him in Night Terrors, and it's like,
yeah. So
remember at the end of the last series, we had that Rainbow Central Power Battery. Who knows what's going on there?
Exactly. Now, I think that we got a scroll, or what would be a movie scroll. We got an explanation at the beginning that the Guardians are gone and the United Planets has taken over the Corps.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the Guardians are still gone, but we still don't know. There's so much that we don't know. Because there's a lot of Lanterns that we've seen at the end of Dark Crisis, for instance.
Yeah. That
were dead, or still in the dark sector or something. I'm sure we'll get some explanations. It's just going to take time.
Well, that's the thing. Jeremy Adams is playing with that because that's why, Hal's locked on Earth. So it's like we really don't know what's going on out in space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't know if there's at least nothing I'm reading. I don't think we're really getting a shot of what's going on in space right now.
No, I don't think. Yeah, we haven't had anything. The only thing we got was Night Terrors #1 with that, admittedly warped version of whatever was going down that may have some nuggets of truth in it about, a mission to Korrigar or something like that.
Because that's what I'm saying. Jeremy Adams was brilliant. He probably was forced to do Night Terrors, and it's just like, well, you use it to drop hints for the monthly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like,
yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned until next week, where you're going to find out what else is happening.
Oh yes,
in Night Terrors.
Yeah, I'll give you my thoughts next week. Yes. Oh no, maybe not next week because if we record Tuesday, I usually don't get my book till Wednesday. So maybe
Wednesday. There you go.
Maybe 2 weeks.
But yeah, I mean, I still think that Green Lantern Corps book is really, really strong.
Yeah.
It's every bit as good as the main title by Jeff Johns. You've got Dave Gibbons wrote the first 6 issues, I think. Is that right?
I think so.
And then we had, was it Keith Champagne writing these?
Yep.
And then it won't be long until, is it Venditti? Does he come on and take over his writing, or is there another writer in there? I cannot remember who takes over.
Well, next week we're doing Green Lantern Corps 10 through 13. Issue 10, Dave Gibbons is back.
Oh, he's back. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
So.
Cool.
Yeah, so it looks like, issue 11's Dave Gibbons. So, yeah, it might be Dave Gibbons, at least until Sinestro Corps War.
And then it's kind of, we've got a giant crossover going on.
Exactly.
So. It's anybody's guess at that point.
Yeah, so. All right, anything else?
All I got this week, sir.
All right, so like I said, next week, we'll do Green Lantern Corps 10 through 13. And then in 2 weeks, again, we're going to get a month of Sinestro Corps War.
Nice.
Yeah. So, week 1 will be Sinestro Corps Special #1, Green Lantern 21, Green Lantern Corps 14, and Tales of the Sinestro Corps Parallax #1. So, so we're
awesome. Basically,
every week you're going to get, 1 or 2 one-shots, and you're going to get the main book and the Green Lantern Corps book. So
nice. I'm really looking forward to rereading that, just because it's been so long, and I have such awesome memories of that series. I really expect it to live up to those. Because I remember it being really, really good.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. It's been a while since I read those. I can't remember a lot of it, so a lot of it is going to be surprises again for me. So,
yeah, there's some neat. I think there's some neat things, like Kyle gets possessed by Parallax at one point. So it's an interesting reversal that Hal doesn't give up on him when he didn't give up on Hal. So it's got some really good stuff in it. Really good stuff.
All right, so yeah,
and it's got the Cyborg Superman and
Superboy
Prime.
Punching
our favorite characters.
Punching plot hole Prime.
There you go. Say that 3 times fast. that.
No, kids, I said plot hole.
Yes.
All right, so send us all your thoughts on all that. Email us, CapesandLunatics, and hey, let us know what you've been thinking about Night Terrors, especially in Jeremy Adams Green Lantern stuff. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes and Lunatics, social media, episodes, merchandise, and the Patreon, where Lil Hellfire is still ranting about Heroes Reborn. So, drunkenly so. So, check out all that. Find it all at tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. All right, Mr. William Allred, master of the core, master of the quantum zone, master of Kickstarter, master of podcasting, master of his own domain. Mr. Will Allred, where can people get a hold of you?
You can find me at Walred. That's at WALLRED at Gmail and Twitter, or I refuse to call it. It's Twitter, okay? And I don't know how much longer I'm going to be there, because as cool as it is to see someone literally take $44 billion and set it on fire, the anarchist in me thinks that's pretty cool. It was still kind of a place where I had community and, comics community, so I'm sad to see that go. I'm also on Blue Sky and other social media as well, Facebook. But you can find me in lots of places. And if you'd like to read the comics that I write and create, you can check out Crossover Division at crossoverdivision.com. We are putting, hopefully, the finishing touches on the files to get the hardcover printed pretty soon. So that's pretty cool. Looking forward to that. I also write a book called Diary of Night, diaryofnight.com, so you can check those out. And you obviously have great taste because you're here, listening to us go on about the awesomeness that is Green Lantern, which means you probably love Quasar almost as much as we do. And if you'd like to find out more about him, you can do that at the Quantum Zone, quantumzone.org.
He goes limp in my grip.
Hey, boys, you look at the party? I love the party.
Seems like I'm getting a package every other day. They aren't even attempting to enter our orifices.
God, that's
favorite drop
from a Fantastic Four.
The 90s. The 90s.
The 90s.
And how do we end every episode, kids?
I, of course, love Hal Jordan.
That is correct.
All right. Thank you for joining us, kids, on this Secret Black Ops mission. Yes, next time, more Green Lantern Corps from Green Lantern Corps 10 through 13. And then in 2 weeks, the war is here, kids.
Sinestro Corps War. Nice.
Oh, maybe when the war starts, I'll be able to tell you what happened to Sinestro in that backup story. From Night Tales.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Hey, Jeff Johns, come talk to us about Sinestro Corps War. All right, kids. Come back next time. And remember, watch who you make friends with and watch what you swallow. Good night.
Yeah, exactly. Always good advice.